Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader and tonight we will be focusing on the presidential activities of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the past couple of days as President al-Sisi just returned home on Friday after participating in the 6th European Union African Union Summit in the Belgian capital of Brussels. We will be focusing on what happened during the summit, the economic relations, the political relations, how could they be even better in the near future between Africa and the European Union, as well as the meetings that took place on the sidelines of the 6th European Union African Union Summit with several leaders from the world entirely and more specifically from Africa, as President al-Sisi met with the President of Tunisia, Kais Saied, and the head of the Transitional Council in Libya, Mohammed al-Manfi. But first of all, we'll be taking a look at what happened in Egypt today and the main top stories for Sunday, and it comes through the presidential activities of President al-Sisi and the number of meetings held by Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli. We'll be starting straight away with the presidential activities as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received on Sunday the heads of the participating delegations in the 4th conference of the Arab Parliament. During the meeting, President al-Sisi stressed the importance of boosting the parliamentary coordination among the Arab countries during the current period through exchanging the expertise and enhancing the Arab solidarity. The President also asserted the conference embodies the responsibilities of the Arab parliaments on the regional and the international levels as being an important pillar in the official diplomacy for serving the Arab people's interests and solving the issues facing their countries. Meanwhile, the speakers of the Arab parliaments praised the Egyptian vital role in the region and the efforts for restoring the national Arab security, as well as facing the developmental challenges and reaching economic achievements under the leadership of President al-Sisi. Also on Sunday, and still with the presidential activities of President al-Sisi, as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi confirmed the Egyptian constant vision towards localization of industries and technology and fostering cooperation with the private sector within the importance for achieving the country's economic growth and the comprehensive development. The President's remarks came during a meeting with Carlos Urol, the director of the Spanish company for trains industry, Talgo, where they discussed means of enhancing the joint cooperation during the upcoming period. President al-Sisi expressed the desire for increasing the company's investments within the framework of Egypt's strategy to expand the extra railway lines at a distance exceeding 2,000 kilometers during the coming years. The meeting discussed the future projects of the Spanish firm through a study for establishing an integrated factory to boost the transportation sector in Egypt. And still with the top stories for today and the third and final item of the top stories on the Daily Debate for tonight, coming from the meetings of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, who received on Sunday the Jordanian counterpart Bishr al-Khawasna, who is currently visiting Egypt with a high-ranking delegation. The meeting reviewed the cooperation files as well as the bilateral and the regional issues of mutual concern. Madbouli and the Jordanian counterpart are due to preside the meetings of the 30th session of the Joint Higher Committee. The meeting kicked off by signing a number of programs and protocols to enhance cooperation in the higher education, scientific research, agriculture, quarantine, logistics areas, and the youth. As we return once again to the main topic for the daily debate for tonight, the presidential activities of President Assisi, but in Belgium, in the Belgian capital of Brussels, and his participation in the 6th European Union African Union Summit in Belgium. We have more details in the upcoming report.
The European Union African Union AU two-day summit, which wrapped up its meetings over the weekend, has presented a unique opportunity to lay the foundations for a renewed and deeper EU-AU partnership. The head of the EU delegation to Egypt, Christian Berger, said that the summit represented the highest economic and political involvement in the African continent ever, based on trust and a clear understanding of mutual interests. With a view to greater prosperity, the summit aimed to launch an ambitious Africa-Europe investment package, taking into account global challenges such as climate change and the current health crisis. Berger added that the leaders on both sides talked about tools and solutions to promote stability and security. He stressed that Egypt played an important role in African affairs, and the active participation of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi himself in this key summit was a further demonstration. During the summit, President al-Sisi focused on various topics of concern to African nations, especially international efforts to facilitate these countries' integration into the global economy. He also highlighted the necessity of providing effective support to African countries in achieving the United Nations 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, transferring technology to developing countries, empowering them to rely on renewable energy sources, and boosting investments in these countries.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having with me over the program for tonight Mr. Khaled Abu Heib, the strategic business developer. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
It's a pleasure. It's all mine. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. First of all, of course, we had the top stories before the break. The main topic for tonight is the 6th European Union and the African Union Summit in Brussels and the participation of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in it. But I would like to have your opinion about the top stories for today. President al-Sisi had just returned on Friday after participating in the summit. And on Sunday, we do see the presidential activities of President al-Sisi meeting with the heads of the delegations from the Arab Parliament. How do you see this activity over the past couple of days and weeks on several fronts, in Africa, in Europe, for Europe, and for the Arab world as well?
It's simply, if you want to put it, it is just our administration just mean business. They are not joking, they are into business, and there is no time to waste. His Excellency flew after a long trips and visits over Egypt. He flew to Brussels, he did the summit, he came back. He's scheduled today with other leadership. This is an overwhelmed agenda for any executive level like His Excellency. And it is not only in one field, in one direction. As you just said, the spectrum goes from Africa as a continent to Arab neighbors to strategic and economical activities all over Africa. So God bless him. It is a very, very hectic agenda to follow and to see what's going on. And it shows to the world that our leadership here in Egypt is reclaiming their position and taking over the position as the front runners of Africa. So when we say Egypt is going, it's between quotes, is Africa is doing. So I'm so happy with what's going on and what's His Excellency doing, and the role of Egypt over Africa and taking back its importance.
Yes, how do you see the role of Egypt in the Arab world as well? Because due to the meeting that we just spoke about, President Al-Sisi meeting the heads of delegations of the Arab delegations that were participating in the Arab Parliament, and as a strategic business developer, what is the importance of seeing the future of business and the future of economy and the political relationship or the bilateral ties between Egypt and the Arab world for the upcoming near future?
Over the history, and you can go back as much as you want, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 years ago, Egypt has its own identity. And this identity is coming from its location, where a lot of circles of influence intersect, whether it's the Arab circle, the African, the Mediterranean ethnicity, you can say it. So we are in the middle of a lot of these circles. Most importantly is that the leadership in Egypt has to understand the importance of that position. And thank God, finally we have a president who really knows what's the importance of his position, not as a president of Egypt, because Egypt is, as I told you, it's just in the middle of 5 or 6 circles. And its influence go by far and supersedes its borders. So our national security starts from the Arab Gulf and up till Algeria and Morocco. And on the Mediterranean, we go up till Cyprus. No such country, and to the south up till Kenya and Ethiopia and or in the middle of Africa. Not such countries have all of this position and territory to maintain. Yes. And the how can I say it, is the influence of the leadership. It is like when Egypt does something, there's a lot to follow. It's like a residual effect. So if Egypt does that, you will find other countries which are in its orbit doing. Libya is going to do, Sudan is going to do, Kenya could do, Jordan is there. So what I'm trying to say is it is an enormous, heavy responsibility to be in that position. Strategically, His Excellency signed 2 years ago a treaty which was Africa Without Borders. And I'm talking here about on the African level.
Yes.
And last year, on the beginning of January, was the date for this treaty to be executed. So we have 52 countries right now, open borders with Egypt, where we can export and move goods and go and visit and try and economics and trade with these countries with open borders. It's going to take time to remove all the obstacles and to come up with an example like the European Union, but we are on the road and we are taking the leadership position with that. When it comes, as you said, to in your question regarding the Arab countries,
yes,
Egypt's position is not, nobody can deny it, it is very wise what the administration is doing right now, especially with our western borders, Libya, and he simply just, we are just telling them, guys, you need to grow up, okay, and to come up together and find yourself a government to govern.
For the sake of your country.
For the sake of your country. Yes, we can help, but we're not going to come and do your job like when we used to do in the past. No, you come up, we will help you. You sit together, grow up, and go over your disagreements and agree on disagree, on the disagreement. Okay, we disagree in here and there, but we need to sit and come up with a country. To our brothers in Libya, which I can say, Libya is no different than Sudan. It's part of Egypt. Historically, if you don't know, the Egyptian borders during the Khedive time was till a point after Benghazi. It's called Ras Turab. So this was the Egyptian border to the west. Okay, and to the south it was still Ethiopia, and to the south and the center of Africa. So during this period, hundreds of years, we have a lot of ties, and the Western Desert is just cut in half. You find half of the tribe is here and half of the tribe is in Libya. So what you're trying to tell them, come up with a solution, come up with a constitutional government which you guys can respect, so we can start move and do our economical and trade with Libya. Libya needs everything from Egypt. You name it. They need to rebuild the whole country. Okay. Plus, and they need, from the workmanship, they need about up till 3 million Egyptians to go and work over there. But the president was so clear, and the administration was so clear, said we will not allow any Egyptian to go to Libya without a contract, an official contract, through the legal channels. And
to protect them.
To protect them, and to protect their rights over there, and to make sure also that our doctors, our teachers, our engineers are doing what needed to be done through their contracts. 3 million people are ready to go. And the Libyan side is crying, please let the Egyptian labor to go. Please let the Egyptian labor. Okay, guys, just sit and come up with the government. How are we going to send 3 million people over there just to be killed or to be massacred or for their rights to be stolen? And this is...
We need to be protecting the interests of Egypt and Libya, the Egyptians and the Libyans at the same time.
Definitely.
Libya, of course, is considered a part of the Arab world and the part of Africa as well, because President Sisi was there in Belgium, and he spoke about the importance of having better bilateral relations between Egypt and the Arab world, between Egypt and Africa and the European Union. The summit, the 6th European Union, African Union Summit in Brussels, it took place up till Friday, and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was in Belgium until Friday. On Sunday, we see President al-Sisi having discussions and meetings with a Spanish company and speaking about the importance of localizing the industry of railways from Spain, a Spanish company called Talgo, one of the main top stories for today as well. How do you see the importance of just not having just speeches on Friday, but translating what we said as Egypt on Friday on the ground in Egypt on Sunday through this meeting and on the ground in the future?
This is what we call, you can call it strategic thinking and long foreseen. When you zoom out to what we're trying to say, the Europeans and the Africans are trying to sit together to start relations and to open the markets to each other. Okay, because you're the president of Egypt, and Egypt, what it is, the head of the African continent. Okay, these relations definitely is going to take years to come, but when it comes, what they need on the ground to be done, they need logistics. Okay, this trade and this economical exchange between Europe and Africa just not going to come like that. It's not going to come by magic. Okay, it needs hard work. And what you're seeing from His Excellency, first of all, this mega highway network and the beginning of the Cairo-Johannesburg highway, and not only developing or reconstructing the railways. Now we are talking about a company to manufacture the locomotives and the train carriages here in Egypt.
Yes.
It's not for Egypt. It is all getting ready for this mega revolution which is gonna come all over Africa. It's no brainer. Europe has no place to expand except through Africa. Unfortunately, this was like a nightmare to them. They didn't want it to come. But unfortunately, there is no way for them to go.
Because we have the potential, the future to grow.
If we're talking about Africa, Africa land as a land, the area of land is 20% of the world land, just to start with. Population, 1.3 up to 1.5 billion humans living in this continent. Resources, endless resources, agriculture, minerals, water, maritime, you name it, it is there. So what's not there for Africa to advance? I told you before that I traveled through Africa and I stayed there for a few years, and I just love Africa. But for instance, I'll give you an example. When you go to Conakry in Guinea and you see the poverty all over the place, it is a reality. But when you know that Guinea-Conakry have 68% of the whole world of bauxite, world reservoir of bauxite. The bauxite is the main mineral for the aluminum industry. And the poverty in these countries is unmatchable, okay? When you go to Sierra Leone, 97% of the jewels, the diamond of the world comes out of Sierra Leone, the most poorest country on planet Earth, okay? I can tell you examples of what's going on over there. When, like in Conakry, when you land over there, you will find that the port of Conakry, the boats and the vessels are over there just to carry the bauxite, and the bauxite is going to France. So, and when you go to Sierra Leone is all the diamonds and the gold also in Conakry and in Bamako, Mali, and in Dakar, Senegal, doesn't stay overnight. The private jets go over there and collect the diamonds and the gold and go to Johannesburg to be manufactured. So these countries is full of goods and resources, water. In Conakry with the River Congo and also in Dakar and in Senegal, they are almost 1,000 years behind Egypt in agriculture. They don't know how to plant. They have the land, they have the water, but they don't know how to plant. This is what the French colonization did to them. So when we're trying to put these countries here and tell them, okay, go and work, what go and work? They didn't learn. And unfortunately, the French President Macron, when he was on the summit, he was trying to catch up, because the French destroyed the French Republic destroyed these areas, and now they're trying to catch up. But here comes the leadership of Egypt. Stop. You need teachers. We're going to give you teachers. We have a lot of graduates people here. Okay, you need agriculture, we're going to send you agriculture engineers from Egypt. That is the gold. Africa is the gold mine to Egypt. We are saying, oh, we have a lot of graduates. If we just fulfill the African manpower, we will not have anybody sitting without a job. It is. I'll tell you an example. The Republic of Sierra Leone have only 2 gynecologists in the whole country. So can you imagine what the French did, and what an opportunity on the other hand to us to go? We are starting to read this, to go. His Excellency last 6 months ago we gave a whole hospital to Uganda as a gift, with the doctors, with the equipment and everything. That is the type of leadership Egypt needs. When His Excellency went to Djibouti and they told him about the health care, we donated a hospital or two with the equipment and the doctors to start over there. Again, this is the Egyptian leadership. So there is a leadership and we need to claim it, and thank God we claimed it, and we are acting the right way to do it. So now the other African countries is coming and telling us, okay, we need this, we need this, we need this. When His Excellency is talking in the summit about Africa in general, he's not talking about Egypt. He's talking about trying to develop these countries, because it is beyond. How can I explain it to you? It is like barefooted people moving on gold, and that's exactly what it. When you go to the places where they mine gold between Mali and between Conakry and Burkina Faso, this area is all of gold. People even don't wear clothes, and they have gold, and they're just waiting for the French to take it. No.
And the Africans themselves are the treasure.
Yes.
They have what it takes.
Yes.
They have the potential to grow and to be better in the future.
Yes, and that's why whenever any Egyptian mission, trade mission, diplomatic mission, economical mission, when they go over there, first thing when you land and you start away from the cameras and away, they're going to tell you, why are you leaving us? Give me one answer. They told us one question I couldn't answer. Why doesn't Egypt Air fly to Dakar?
In Senegal.
All the West Coast. Egypt Air doesn't fly to it. Why are you leaving us to the French airlines? Why are you leaving us to Brussels Airlines? Yes, the Moroccan airlines.
So it's an opportunity as well.
You just say it.
In one sector.
In one sector. This West Coast, all of it, they need to travel to Europe or to the Arab countries.
How do you see, ever since 2014 and under the tenure of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, first of all, the bilateral relationship or the bilateral ties between Egypt and Africa in general, how they were enhanced in the past 7 or 8 years before the tenure of the previous presidents and leaderships, that is first of all. And second of all, do you get the feeling that there is an opportunity for both sides, for Egypt and for the Africans, that we need to help you and we need your help as well?
Sure. If I can tell you here in Shoma, and everybody know it, it is the biggest crime ever done for the Egyptian diplomacy and the Egyptian economics, is that the previous presidency for 30 years left Africa, which exactly we left our depth, our strategic depth, where comes our importance in. Now here we are trying to reclaim this territory again, and we are doing it the hard way, because there is, when we left it, a lot of other countries, and some of them are neighbors to us, went over there and occupied that area. You need schools, you need trade, we're going to do it, you have to do it through us.
We provide it.
And they provide it. Now we are trying to compete with them, to get them out of our historic territory. So we are
to catch up.
We are catch up
on the missed opportunities.
and taking it, and it costing us a lot, because we are competing here with somebody who's on the ground.
And this is a point that President Sisi always speaks of, missing opportunities and wasting time, which is more important. That we need to do what needs to be done in 5 years, in 2 or 3 years.
That's absolutely the way to be done, and that's what makes a lot of people who want to stop this movement. Actually, what's happening right now in Egypt is a movement, because it is a movement in every section, everywhere, and the African countries
within
right now.
Egypt and within Africa.
True. Actually, the African goes on demonstrations, like before they throw up the president of Conakry, the demonstration was on the streets because they want Conakry, their leadership, to follow what's going on in Egypt. Because now it's an example to everybody. Like, look, that's how things should be done. And I'm going to tell you in a very simple way. We are entering the age of digitalization and digitization. We have in Africa 1.5 billion. Google is willing to pay 50 cents for every eyeball of Africa. And which means that this is a whole virgin market. The whole world, the World Bank, all together, all these countries, made one cable around Africa. And they said that this is a great achievement. But looking at the depth of this opportunity, Google said, okay, I'm going to do my own cable. Google, by itself, did one first cable around Africa and did the second cable around Africa. Why? Because they read the future. This is the future of the world.
We have the potential.
Yes,
Africa
definitely.
has the potential.
And that's why we are putting on 4,200 in the Decent Life initiative of the presidency. We're putting all of this new infrastructure of fiber optics and high-speed internet.
In the villages.
Yes. When you see this part as Egypt as a total, 4,200 villages, high-speed internet, it's the biggest hub and data place for all of Africa. So it was a very, very strategic move to update our infrastructure. If you need a gateway to go out from Africa to any place in the world, you have to come through Egypt because we have the highest internet to go through it.
So before going to the second report of the daily debate for tonight, what can Europe offer Africa now? Just money, technology, new systems? And on the other hand, what can Egypt offer Africa at the same time?
Okay, let's talk about Europe first. Europe, what they can offer Africa, suddenly they woke up from a very deep sleep to see that the USA is in most Africa, the Chinese dragon is all over Africa.
With the Silk Road and the
Yes,
Belt.
yes. And now they are waking up and saying, okay, we are apologizing for the slavery, we are apologizing this, we want to send you this. How does the French people, Macron, is gonna pay or repay these people on the West Coast or this French speaking territories?
So Europe is having new paths.
Yes,
into
definitely.
Africa,
Yes.
into having new economic relationship.
And they
Europe
are
and
pushing
Africa.
hard on it because they are very outpassed by the Chinese and the Americans.
Is it for the benefit of
Definitely.
Europe
No,
as well?
Yes, definitely.
This
because it's their market.
relationship, the economic relationship?
Definitely. Tell me, what's France without Africa? They can manufacture whatever croissant to themselves and they can eat it. But they have no ores, they have no minerals, they have no resources. It's all, most of it from Africa, from their colonies. So now it's a time for them to go.
Colonies.
Yes, and they still not till now their currency is still French with the French bank. So they have to go and solve these problems. And now the Chinese is giving the West. I'm thinking about, for example, the West African. The Chinese is giving them an alternative. Go with the Chinese bank. The Americans is giving them a much even lucrative and very, very generous offers to the African countries. So when you tell me that the Europeans, Macron and the British or whatever is running and speeding up to catch up, no, they are very much big time delayed.
Yes, and this means that Africa needs the help of Europe and
Yes.
Egypt as well. And on the other hand, Egypt needs the help of Africa, Europe, and to be helping
Let me
each
say
other
the
and
quote which
supporting
I
each other.
always say, don't ever forget, Egypt is the gate to Africa.
Yes, and on the sidelines of
Yes.
the 6th summit of the European Union and the African Union summit. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held a number of meetings. One of them was with the Tunisian President Kais Saied, and the other was with the head of the Presidential Libyan Council, the Transitional Council, Mohammed al-Menfi. We'll be having more details in the upcoming report, and we'll be returning once again to you to be focusing on those two issues. We'll be having the details in this report, so stay tuned.
On the sidelines of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's participation in the European Union-African Union summit that wrapped up over the weekend, the president said that Egypt fully supports the political path in Libya to settle its crisis. His remarks came in his meeting with the chairman of the Libyan Presidential Council, Mohammed al-Menfi, in the Belgian capital of Brussels. President al-Sisi also asserted to al-Menfi that Egypt was keen to boost close cooperation with Libya in the near future. For his side, the Libyan top official expressed his appreciation for Egypt's support, including efforts led by President al-Sisi to restore the country's national institutions and unify the Libyan National Army, in addition to supporting the current political path in Libya. Separately, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with his Tunisian counterpart Kais Saied, and the two discussed ways to boost cooperation between Egypt and Tunisia, as well as regional developments of mutual concern. The president stressed Egypt's support for measures taken by Tunisian President Kais Saied in July 2021 and his efforts to overcome all the challenges to achieve stability and security in the country and to build a better future for the Tunisian people. From his side, Said praised the bilateral relations between the two countries at the official and public levels, as well as Egypt's achievements over the past years at the internal level in the fields of security, stability and development.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate. Mr. Khaled Abu Heif, of course, as we did see in the past report, several meetings of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. His Excellency met with the presidents of Senegal, the president of Kenya, the president of Tunisia, the head of the Presidential Transitional Council in Libya as well. How did you see this momentum in the space of 2 or 3 days on the sidelines of the summit, the importance of those meetings?
It is very important, definitely, especially with our Libyan brothers and the Tunisian brothers. The president was trying to tell them that you guys need to get it together and form a constitutional government. And you in Tunisia, you need to have a stable country, because what's coming to Africa, you need to get ready to what's coming. And it is very important also for Egypt, that is in its strategic depth, which is Libya and Tunisia and parts of Algeria and all of this. The stability of these countries will bring stability to the whole region, which will allow the investors to come and invest safely. Because money, if there is any turbulence and there is any problems, money goes away. If there is clear laws and clear stability, investors gonna come. So because of these two countries, they are in our strategic depth. We are pushing hard on these countries to reach the stability. And we are offering, His Excellency is offering all the help needed to them. But the will has to come from within. We cannot impose on them that they have to do it in a certain way or to educate them. The will has to come within, and Egypt definitely, through His Excellency President Sisi, as he told them, we are willing to help and help you to be safe, secured, and also developed.
Yes, Tunisia is going tough times,
Turbulence.
through, yes, a very tough time, especially financially and economically. What is the importance of the support being lent by President al-Sisi and Egypt during those tough times for Tunisia?
Tunisia was always a peaceful country. And now it is going through very, very tough turbulence. And they are almost lost in the middle of everybody. And we're just telling them, as the elder brother and mother Egypt is just telling them, don't worry, we can help. But you guys need to come on a word, and you have to compromise your problems and come to an agreement. And we can help you as Egypt. We did. We are the ones who did the revolution. We are the ones who did the French Revolution, the Algerian Revolution. We can do a lot of things to these countries, and they know. But they have to come within. We were not going to get sucked, and our economy get sucked in these countries or to anybody. No, we learned our lesson the hard way over 60 years. They can come up, and we can help them. We have the teachers, we have the engineers, we have all the means to help them. But they have to stand up and to come. The will has to come from within, within them, so we can help them.
Of course, the summit focused mainly on the economy and the political bilateral ties between the European Union and the African Union. But one important topic was the fight against the coronavirus pandemic and the conference that took place on the sidelines of the summit. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi participated in it, in the World Health Organization decision to be giving Egypt the right to be manufacturing vaccines against the coronavirus pandemic, one of only 6 countries in Africa. How do you see the importance of the decision by the World Health Organization, specifically during the fight against the coronavirus pandemic? And what does this say about the system here in Egypt, the health system here in Egypt and the health sector?
To start with, I like very much the way His Excellency put it in front of them. Yes, you're coming now to help Africa against that pandemic, but this was not quick enough. No whatsoever leader spoke like this to the Europeans or to the world community, because actually it was almost like discrimination against Africa. Africa was the last place ever to have the vaccinations. And now they're trying hard now to catch up and to do these centers for manufacturing vaccination. And thank God, we started even before the European gave us this and said, oh, we're going to manufacture in Egypt. No, we are manufacturing our vaccine well before that summit. But
with the Chinese technology, but now with the European as well.
Yes, now I'm going to say here it is the economical value of that is just telling the rest of the world, oh, Egypt is the place to be. And the technology of manufacturing vaccine is very complicated. It is not like manufacturing cars or manufacturing tables. No. It's very, very high-end technology. And for us to do the vaccine...
And essential to saving lives.
Definitely.
Millions.
Definitely. And we did it. And we did it with the Chinese. Now the Europeans are coming. And just... actually, what they're doing now is just saying, yes, Egypt, you were right, you are on the right track, we want to help you. So I'm just telling you, the European is always late in understanding what's going on, because they have a bit of arrogancy. Oh, we don't need them. Now it is your future to be in Africa. So, okay, we need the people healthy. Okay, so where are the points? Oh, Egypt is going to be one of them. Actually, Egypt is going to be the #1 of them, because we have the infrastructure for everything needed to manufacture. Whether you want to manufacture vaccines, whether you want to manufacture trains, whether you want to manufacture airplanes, cars, Egypt is the place to be. So definitely, it is on the right track.
So what are the other areas of investment that could be leading to more European investments into Africa now?
There is endless opportunities for them to invest in Africa. Number one, whenever you go anywhere in Africa and on any level, number one, they're going to ask you, we need power. So they need electrical power. So it is the solar energy or the hydro energy from the water. Number two, is the telecommunication. They have, in each African country you're gonna go, they have cell phones, 1.5%, double the population number of these countries. So the Africans are very hungry for information. They are very hungry for education. They are very hungry to know what's going on. So the infrastructure with the fiber optics cable, with the high-speed internet, with the wireless, these are mega things in Africa, and they are bids in every country asking for this. So starting with the telecommunication, then with the power, then after that you're going to go to education. We're not talking about building a village. We're building a whole continent. We are building 55 states. So we're trying to reclaim 20% of planet Earth, which is Africa. So definitely it is the place to be for investment, and Europeans are very thirsty over there, and they are fighting very hard to try to penetrate these markets.
Yes, exactly. Mr. Khaled Abu Heif, the strategic business developer, thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate.
It's been a pleasure having me. Thank you.
The pleasure is all mine. And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.